Right guys, as you can probably see, I've had a bit of a tidy up. I've demasked the car, I've swept up, vacuumed, put some rubbish away, and now we've got a nice clean work area once again. So, plan for today's video is remove the fuel tank and inspect to see what's leaking, and then we'll go from there. Right guys, so I'm under the car. Here's the fuel tank in question. It's a Nova SPI tank, which is single point injection found on the later Mark IIs. These have an in-tank low pressure fuel pump. Now common mod is to fit a multi-point injection fuel pump from like a Corsa or Mark III Astra, which are also in-tank fitted. That then converts this essentially to a multi-point injection tank because it's high pressure fuel pump. However, the problem with this is it's leaking. So yeah, I'm going to drop the fuel tank down and just inspect it and see if I can do anything about that. And I'm also going to check for corrosion, make sure there's no holes in it or anything like that. Obviously, it's a 30-year-old fuel tank now, so it could be corroded. It does look okay, so I'm hoping it's not. Now, I have mentioned in the previous video that it does cut out when it's low on fuel going around corners quick. So when I say low on fuel, I mean below a quarter of a tank. Now, it's not a big problem, but it's not great. So I would like a swill pot inside the tank. Later Corsa tanks and Nova multi-point injection tanks have a built-in swill pot. This does to an extent, but obviously a C20 uses a lot of fuel, sucks a lot of fuel, and it just isn't quite up to job. So when I get it out, I'm also going to see if I can add any kind of baffle inside just to help it. My other plan is to sabotage a Corsa tank and cut the insert out for the fuel sender and weld the whole thing in. That's a little bit brave, and I don't really want to do that if I don't have to, so we're going to drop this down and go from there. So the first job I need to do is remove the exhaust, because unfortunately it's in the way. Once the exhaust is off, handbrake cable's off, fuel pipes off, fuel tank straps off, a couple of cables, and we're away. Now, the eagle-eyed viewer will notice we've got two exhausts. We've got a stainless steel magnet system, I believe. We've also got a 3-inch downpipe off the turbo going to a 2.5-inch centre section. A Y piece here, and then an exhaust valve here, which is vacuum controlled, so I can press the switch on the dash and it'll open this valve and then essentially give you a straight through system, which is 2.5 inch. It makes it louder, it makes it have like a screamer pipe kind of noise, so it sounds awesome. Not very good on the road, a bit too loud, but it does sound awesome. But it's great for drag racing, and obviously I'd imagine this 2-inch system will probably restrict the C20 a little bit, so having this just helps it that little bit more. Centre section is supported by these two rubber mounts. I've just removed them. So that's free to drop now. I just need to undo the rear silencer. Right, annoyingly I lost some footage. However, the exhaust is now off. I've removed the handbrake cables and I've disconnected the fuel lines and the wiring to the fuel tank. So we're now at the stage where we can just drop the fuel tank straps down and then drop the tank down. Right guys, tank is now down. I've got the breather to undo at the top end and then she's ready to drop basically. The tank looks in pretty good condition. I'm quite happy so far. I can't see any corrosion, and I believe the fuel loss is literally just coming out of this seal from the top of the pump. So I'm hoping when I get it down I'll be able to see an obvious fault. Right, tank is off. As you can see, it's in pretty good condition. Now, paint's flaking a bit away on it, but other than that, I can't see any obvious corrosion or anything I'm overly concerned about. First point I've noticed, the breather pipe is, I would say, the original, and it's very corroded. The rubber's gone completely rotten, and when I tried to remove it, it just broke. So I did think this was leaking, but now I'm nearly convinced it was the breather leaking, not this. I knew it was coming from around the top of the tank, and that's all I could tell. So I think the plan is to replace the hoses. I'm going to wire wheel the whole tank. I'm going to replace this seal here, replace all the hose clips, paint the tank, put it back together, and hopefully that'll do. I may also, while this pump housing is out, I'm going to see if I can put some kind of baffle inside the tank just to try and give it some kind of swill pot effect. So first off, I'm going to wire wheel it and clean it up. Right, I'm going to take the fuel pump out and just investigate a little bit further. These impact drivers are absolutely amazing. They really do save time, make the job so much easier. I bought this as a bare unit for about 80 quid. I mean, you really can't grumble with that. So, pumps out. This is a upgraded high pressure fuel pump. I am going to get rid of these connectors here because I'm not overly keen on them. And I am going to replace this seal because, as you can see, it's absolutely shot. So I'm nearly certain this is the cause of the problem. You can see this rubber's gone really hard, really corroded, and I'd imagine that's been leaking. So when I filled the tank, it was just pouring out of here. You can also see here where there's been a bit of petrol leak. It's kind of taken the wax all off the tank a little bit. So I'm going to clean it all up and go from there. Right, the fuel tank is all clean, wire brushed. I've sanded it down and given it a good degrease. Really pleased with it. There's not really any corrosion. So for a 30-year-old tank, it's come out pretty well. So I'm going to give it some X primer now and then some gloss. Right, I'm not going for a perfect finish. I'm literally just trying to prevent corrosion. So it's going to have a quick couple of coats of X primer and some rattle can black. That'll do for today. Right, tank's now had a couple of coats. It's good enough for what I need. I'm going to measure all the pipe work, order everything I need, including the seal, and then we're ready to put it back together. Right, I've been on eBay. I've ordered a selection of hoses, some clips, and a fuel tank seal. Obviously, they need to come, so I'm going to wrap the video up there. Once again, I hope you like what we see. If you do like it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you next time.